99.1 KFMG during the KFMG Fund Drive week, and today is the day that we talk to the people. Well, actually, I was going to say this is kind of the cultural media day, but then again, Kristian, you're a musician too, so you count as the musical part of the programming that we do for Fund Drive Week.
I guess I do.
Joining me right now is Kristian Day, who's a musician, director, producer, filmmaker, photographer. Let's see. Maybe the list would be shorter if we listed what you don't do.
What I don't do? Oh, man.
I don't do Windows.
I don't do Windows.
And I don't know nothing about birth and no babies.
Right.
There we
got
go.
it. You got it.
Those are the best two answers when people ask me, so what don't you know how to do? I don't do Windows, and I don't know nothing about birth and no babies. So they don't call me when the water needs boiled and the sheets need.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So good enough. First of all, congratulations on your documentaries being aired on IPTV. The Templeton ride documentaries about that place and around the Ken Burns Prohibition series. That was an amazing placement of programming. A lucky grab for you. And how did that turn out for you? I mean, what kind of response did you see off of that?
You know, we had a lot of great response around here, but the response that meant the most to me, to be honest with you, is the people of Templeton.
Oh,
and they,
yeah.
I was actually up at the distillery yesterday for volunteer bottling, and people were coming up to me and said, that was very good.
It was fantastic, man. I thought it was really, really good. So
and like I've said before, that was just the tip of the iceberg. This was only the 30-minute film that we did specifically for IPTV.
Right.
And it was funny because when they approached me wanting to do this, I knew I wasn't going to be done with the 90-minute film, and
right.
I said, this is an opportunity. We have Ken Burns on the line here.
So
within 3 weeks, I turned around another product, another 30-minute film, to just air on IPTV, and we have a 5-year license agreement with them, so they can actually air it for the next 5 years.
And I'm actually sure they will, because that the pieces that you presented them are very well worth rebroadcasts. Mm-hmm. With some of the things that you see rebroadcast on television these days, those definitely are not reruns that you want to avoid. These are good reruns. I can sit down and watch them all the time. So. I mean, it was a great presentation. And he had a lot of other people that folks around this area might actually know. We were talking about the photographer that you used for both of those pieces, Jennifer Dawson, and really nice person in the first place, but a great photographer, too.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely talented.
Jen and I have worked together for about 2 years now on different things. In fact, she's done she's done my headshots. She's done stills for now 2 films. And, I cannot see myself working on a film without her being the still photographer. I mean, in fact, her and her business partner, Brian Sampika,
mm-hmm.
together, they do an amazing job. And, she and I relate on a certain level when it comes to photography. I do a lot of my own cinematography.
Right.
You talk gear with us, we really can't talk to you very well.
Well, no.
But we know enough. We know about our tools and how to make it do what we want it to do.
Right.
But if you would start talking lenses and the specs about it, we kind of look at you with like a question mark over our heads.
Yeah, it's that blank deer in the headlight stare that
exactly.
I give 90% of my days. So
you're like, what? But she does an absolute fantastic job. I couldn't have my team alone on this has been fantastic. And when I remember asking her to do that way before we even had funding to make this film. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, if I do this, do you guys want to get on this? And she's like, but of course. Good
choice for her. It was good exposure for her as well.
Oh yeah, and she actually came up twice. The day that we were up in Wall Lake with Gus Schrader, and you heard about his story up at the Schrader Farm. She was there, and her and Brian were there then. And then she came up with me for the Ragbri shoot. And I can tell you, I actually would run off into town where there was shade. She stayed at the distillery all day without any shade, and I was like, Oh, Jen.
Oh
You
man.
know?
Well, that will explain some of the things I've heard her say. Then a little bit of heat exposure.
Oh,
just
yeah.
kidding, Jennifer. By the way, congratulations on the expectation of a new life into the world.
Oh,
That's
yes.
so cool.
Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is. Well, let's talk about some of the other things now. You've got going on the actual. You were talking about these 30-minute pieces. There's an actual 90-minute piece.
The 90-minute piece goes from 1916 to now, and we deal with we kind of deal with some of the stuff that was in the 30-minute, but we actually go into, and you heard about the guy Joe Earlbeck, who was the whiskey kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we in that same time frame, we also talk about some of the 40 men that were involved.
Oh yeah.
Such as Alphonse Kirchhoff, is his descendant, his grandson, which is Keith Kirchhoff, is now one of the co-founders of Templeton Rye.
Uh-huh.
We talk about the night watchmen that were involved. That whole circle of people. It's all of Carroll County, and you can kind of dip down into Audubon County, people that were involved.
Right.
And they were involved at different levels. They were either cooking, or they were housing it, or they were watching out for other people.
Right.
And, we go into a little more detail on that. And we also go into the 1960s with the Harold Hughes election for governor.
Ah, yes.
Because two of the guys we interviewed from that area played in his band that traveled around.
Oh, wow.
Including a guy named Roy Schilling, who was the accordion player.
Great.
And then we go into, we actually visit an illegal still. Of people who are cooking whiskey, and we go into the formation of the company, and we kind of deal with people who are pro the homemade illegal stuff versus the legal stuff, which was that's going to be your drama in there, because there's people who are on the fence on some of it, because some people say you're bottling history. But at the same time, you're also taking something that's from Templeton, Iowa, turning it into a product that is also building an economy.
Right.
And also bringing in people. The town's a beautiful town.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
not-
mean, from the photography and the shots that you guys took, it's a really well manicured community.
Not one dandelion in those
I
yards.
was just gonna say, I don't know who does their treatments around there, but those were the greenest lawns I've ever seen.
They are. They really are. And it's amazing to look at. The time I spent up there was I could never replace, and to actually have been accepted by a lot of those people, to have them tell me their story, meant a lot to me, because the thing is people have been trying to make this film for years.
Right.
Other people have, and getting those people to talk and tell the truth. And I'll be honest with you, I've had to really cut a lot of footage to figure out what's the truth and what's not.
Right.
And a better judgment, because then there's some people that their stories don't match, or they deny this or they deny that, or they have a whole other spin on it. I had one guy claim his father never made whiskey.
Oh.
And he's 80 years old. Then I had another guy who's 96 who claimed that guy's father did make whiskey. And I'm like, well, he said, and he's like, I am 16 years older than him. I'm like, exactly,
Okay.
And the interesting part is, a lot of people point out, this is coming from the perspective of children. That's why at the beginning of the 30-minute, you saw the kids peeking in the barn.
Yeah.
All these people were so young when this stuff was going on, and it's coming from their memory. And
that's what I really liked about it. It's like, this is history that has stayed with these people. It's something that they know about and remember. Well, it's part of the community and has been for so long. But this is something that they've grown up with since they were yay high, and a lot of the memories. I mean, history is decided by people's clarity of memory for the most part, and who's doing the writing.
Exactly.
But if you've got people that were that close to the source and they're actually doing the writing and the remembering, you're gonna get at least a fairly decent modicum of truth out of the deal. So.
Exactly, and out of this, not just a movie. As I talked about earlier, when I was actually doing an interview, a guy came up to me, a son of one of the guys being interviewed. He said, "I have a musician here who wrote a song about Templeton Rye, and it wasn't the Nadas.
Yeah.
It was another guy from Manning." And he gave me this demo, and it was like a 4-track, kind of not properly mixed.
Right,
and
right.
I heard it, but I heard a quality in there, and I said, okay. I met him. His name is Brad Morgan.
Right.
We recorded the song "You and Me in Templeton Rye," which you heard at the end of the 30-minute piece. And in fact, he did the intro music too. But while I had everything set up, I said, you got something really cool going. Would you want to record, the entire album? And he said, yeah, how much you charge? And I looked at him, I said, you know what? This is a guy that has the talent.
Right.
And I know, giving the right opportunity, he can go far.
Right.
So I recorded that entire album for him, this entire album for him for free in 2 days, and he has his release party on the 11th. And I mean, this guy is going to blow a lot of people away.
It is going to be good.
He's an amazing.
And I'm pretty sure that we're going to be able to play a copy of that Templeton Rye song at the end of this interview.
Yeah,
so.
this kid, 19 years old, has and sings like he's been doing this for 20 years.
He's only 19.
He's 19.
That voice comes out of a 19-year-old body.
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys are really going to be impressed then. That's fantastic. Let's move on. There's a lot of things happening for you right now. Some big news, some stuff that you can only share parts of because of the process. But let's talk a little bit about where you're headed with not just the Templeton Rye, but your music and your producing and everything like that. What's going on in your world with that?
Well, I've released quite a bit of material lately. I've been putting out a few more CDs, but I'm kind of putting the music on the back burner. I'm actually going to be performing with D.D. Sparks.
I know him, actually. I used to work with him.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So where are you guys going to be
We're
playing?
going to be at the Vaudeville Muse November 12th. I'm actually I'm doing a live film score for the movie Haxon, which is a witch documentary from the 20s.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm actually going to be his doing all of his music for his set.
Oh, okay.
I'm going in and I'm actually going to be playing all the instruments for it. And then I have on this Friday, I have a sound installation at Bucktown in the Quad Cities. And it's going to be a Black Room soundtrack where I have 3 audio players set at random that I have put my pieces on, and they're strategically placed in this room. And a person will walk in, no lights, and then it starts playing, and each experience is different, and it's just in time for Halloween.
That's a very cool idea.
You just submerge yourself in it. My company, Modern American Cinema, has grown in ways I could never imagine in the last couple months. The PBS Templeton Rye deal did a lot for us.
Kind of lit a fire under everything.
It did. But also we were looking at, one of the things filmmakers struggle with, there's 2 big things. It's funding, and then it's distribution.
Right.
And I hate struggling.
Well, we know about struggling and funding, don't we,
you guys
folks?
Know.
Yeah,
you guys know. I mean, but I figured, if I could eliminate one of these, I want to try to make things easier. So I said, if I can eliminate the distribution deal, I could make funding easier, because an investor can come in and say, we know that funding is going to happen. We're going to make our money back,
right?
With the distributions there. So Modern American Cinema has become a distributor as well as a production company, because we have now set up a bridge. So now we have direct video on demand distribution. We also have a DVD manufacturer that we're working with closely on product. So now we can do both video on demand and DVD distribution. Now DVD, it is slowly fading away, as much as I hate to see it. That physical product is
right.
With the iClouds, the Amazon clouds.
Oh yeah.
And then VOD is huge. If you use Netflix streaming, right there,
Yeah,
it's so easy. Why would you go any other route?
Because I'm a tactile person. I like to hold the DVD in my hand.
I
mean, that's why I'm glad I watched you walk in with those discs. And I'm going, yes, something I can hold in my hand.
You open it up.
Well, actually, it'll be something that somebody else can hold in their hand.
I like to have put extras and things like that you can't get just from watching it.
That's the other thing that you miss without getting the DVDs.
Commentary,
yes.
Things like that.
Yeah.
So. But the thing is about video on demand, there's no inventory. We have something on the market that's always there.
Yeah.
We never have to worry about ordering new products.
Yeah, is the warehouse stocked?
Exactly.
It's always stocked, as long as the signal will go.
I got DVDs piled up in my basement, cases full of DVDs.
CDs and
and stuff. And I'm like, and I'm shipping them off to Amazon to their warehouse, and that gets expensive. You're paying for shipping.
Oh yeah.
So you don't want to mark up your product too much that people aren't going to buy it.
Right. Exactly.
So I was just thinking, maybe there's a way to go about this. So what we're doing, we have video on demand. We're starting off with Amazon's video on demand, and we're also working with national chains, so we can actually hit select markets. Templeton Rye is really big in Iowa. It can also do well in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
But Texas it's people aren't going to really know what it is.
Yeah,
But
it's
what we're dealing with here is now we can do just select market video on demand. So if we know that we're thinking, okay, this market right here is going to do well, we can have it go into video on demand on your television sets,
Right.
and you can order it that way. And that for us is a huge step.
no kidding.
You know, and you think about it again, there is no inventory, there's no manufacturing costs. You usually have to split 50-50 with your distributor that way. But the fact that we're able to sign this deal and do this and open it up like this is huge, because one of the goals I want to do with the company is, I knew starting out as a filmmaker, it was so hard to get a finished product because if you have any money, it's so hard to get it done.
Right.
You know, you have all these things in your way. What I want us to be able to do is be able to acquire films from other filmmakers, especially the ones who are struggling,
Right.
help them finish their product, and then, you know, part of the deal is we're able to sign on as a distributor and get the product out there.
Okay, so if and I know there are a few, at least in our audience, people that work on films and make their own and stuff, and have run into probably the same problems, if not, you know, maybe something that you guys can solve together. How can they get a hold of you to talk to you about something like this?
My website, which is kristianday.com, which is spelled with a K, Kristianday. Facebook, and you can also get me on Twitter. You can or you can email me at kristianday@gmail.com.
Gmail, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, I welcome it. I'm very open. I am, you know, very accessible. So, you know, don't ever be afraid to talk to me about some of this stuff, because I want to see this industry succeed, and I want to see Iowans succeed. There's a lot of talent out there.
Well, you've done just those two little 30-minute things have done quite a bit to ensure that both of those goals are met. I mean, seriously, it exposed a lot of people to your filmmaking, and it exposed a lot of Iowa to Templeton Rye. And there are people outside of Iowa that actually watch IPTV. It exposed them to Iowa filmmaking and Templeton Rye and you. So thank you very much. I mean, that'll definitely bring something to the community, and already has, in my opinion. Just the fact that you made such great documentaries, it improves things.
Thank you.
We really do appreciate you, and especially giving up your time. I mean, not only for this interview, but you actually came in and answered phones too. Gave up one of the nicest afternoons that we're probably going to have left in this year.
This was our last day
to answer phones for us, and Kristian, we couldn't be happier. Thank you so much for helping us out. Now you do have a preview of your 90-minute Templeton Rye coming fairly soon.
Coming up. All I will say is going to be the first week of December. We're trying to finalize the date for that week, but it'll be that first week.
Okay.
Of December.
Make sure and let me know exactly when it is. We will promo the heck out of it, because I think if you folks missed the two 30-minute ones, this 90-minute one probably will make up for it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And plus add an extra 30 minutes of interesting video to watch.
Exactly.
Okay. Again, Kristian Day, thank you very much for stopping by. Kristian Day, a man about town, a man of all seasons, and a jack of all trades, master of several of them, if not all of them. Thanks again.
Thank you, Gary.
99.1 KFMG as we continue with the fun drive after this.